What's going on, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, here with a Borderlands 3 video that I honestly didn't think I'd be making so soon, because I just made a video on Borderlands 3 and how I thought the game was going to be announced or revealed at PAX East from March 10 to March 12. And even though that was probably in doubt, we have just seen the early tech demo for Borderlands 3. I'm not even kidding here, like this is absolutely amazing. And I was looking at this thinking, holy fuck, the game is actually real, it's there, it's in the flesh. And yes, even though it's a tech demo, so I'm a bit hesitant to say Borderlands 3 was revealed because it's probably going to look very different to what it does in that demo, it's still a very good indication, first, that the game is in development and not just completely postponed until after Battleborn is done. And secondly, that the game is probably going to see some sort of tease or trailer or reveal sometime soon. And I'm still, certainly at this stage, going to say we're going to see something at PAX, because we don't see this random surprise tech demo at GDC and not in about a week or so when PAX East happens, see something more. It's clear that the Gearbox team is somewhat well into the development of Borderlands 3. Even Randy Pitchford, who was doing this presentation, said himself that he was on the Borderlands team now. Whatever that specifically means, who knows, but the conclusion that I'm drawing is that he is not working on Battleborn now. In fact, within Gearbox, there's probably a Battleborn team still working on the Battleborn DLC, and there's probably a team working on the next Borderlands game, i.e. Borderlands 3. That is the whole reason why we have a tech demo now, and in the background I am showing you some footage from the tech demo. It's going to be cut up a little bit because the entire presentation was about 11 minutes long, but I also want to show you some quotes from an IGN article which is linked in the description below, because they sum up the presentation pretty nicely. The article states that Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford showed off tech from the next Borderlands game during a presentation at the Game Developers Conference. Pitchford said the content shown off was strictly to demo Epic Games' Unreal Engine 4 in its relation to Borderlands 3, and didn't necessarily represent anything we'll see in the final game. Pitchford stressed this fact, prefacing his presentation by saying the things shown were not a video game, but rather a technology demonstration. But this is the interesting bit, right? That's not to say that everything shown was destined for the cutting room floor. While the lion's share of Pitchford's presentation focused on the technology behind the signature Borderlands art style, there were some art assets promised for a future video game. A character model was also shown. One Pitchford said was a production asset, but the face was intentionally blocked from view during the presentation. And Pitchford at that point in the presentation actually joked and said, "Don't worry about the character, we're focusing on the technology, that's why it's blocked off," or something like that. It's pretty clear that this character is probably going to be a character of some sort in Borderlands 3. My best guess is that it's a grown Tiny Tina. If we can play as a grown Tiny Tina, I'm going to fucking love this game. That's the character that I'm going to pick straight away. I've said on numerous occasions that Tiny Tina is my favorite character from the Borderlands franchise. In fact, she's my favorite female video game character of all time. I absolutely adored Tiny Tina in the earlier Borderlands games. And I tell you what, if this is Tiny Tina in this fucking tech demo, and if we can play as Tiny Tina in Borderlands 3, like, I'm on board straight away. I am so hyped for this fucking game. But I just wanted to quickly run through some of the things that were shown in this tech demo. Even though there's not much to see, it's still kind of cool to see what Borderlands 3 is probably going to look like. So first of all, we got this nice scenic shot. I mean, typical Borderlands style here. Then Randy shows some different items. The first one here is a test sphere, and he was changing the materials to ink and metal just to show you what Unreal Engine is capable of, so it's not really something we're probably going to see in the game. And then we got some arrow signs here looking very Borderlands-esque and Gearbox-esque. This is probably something that we'll see outside of a shop in the game or whatever. Again, nothing too special here, but it's still cool to see. And then we got another item here that really, I don't know what it's meant to be. I think it's part of a car engine or something, but it does have the Gearbox logo at the front. And then we got something here that, yes, really does look like a car engine. And of course, we can pretty much say at this stage that we're going to have car racing back again in Borderlands 3. That's pretty much a certain. We didn't even need to see this engine in the tech demo to confirm that. But if Borderlands didn't have cars and we had that huge open world world, it would be an absolute bitch to get around. And I would love to see the cars back. To be honest, that was my most favorite way, not just of getting around, but also of killing enemies. The fucking satisfying feeling of running over an enemy and seeing their blood splatter everywhere and the controller fucking vibrate. It's just awesome. And then we got a behind shot of the character whose face was obscured. Nothing really to note here, just that it looks like a cool character. I'm presuming it's going to be someone we can play as. Hopefully it's Tiny Tina. Here is then another shot of that character where you can clearly see at this stage with the thing over her face, they're intentionally obstructing the face of this character. They're not giving us any visuals of her face. And if it was just some random character in a tech demo, why would they care whether we saw her or not? It probably would have been better to see her face, to see how Unreal Engine renders a face in a video game. So there's a reason why this character's face is obstructed. She must be a playable character, that's my best guess. And then we have the same shot here, but just behind a tarp to show how the shadows actually work in relation to the God rays. You can see that shadows are cast as the God rays hit the character and go through the tarp. And then here we got a pretty cool room. The intention of this part of the presentation was to show how light was cast within a room. They kind of like showed a torch moving throughout the room to see how things changed in terms of shadows and lighting. But to the left there, we see a fuel pump. Of course, again, cars are going to come back to this game. In the middle there, we have the explosive barrels, which were an absolute bitch in the original Borderlands games. The amount of times I died because of explosive barrels was really annoying, but there's a cool part in this tech demo where they actually explode and you can see the fire. So it's cool to see how that actually works. And then to the right, we just have a car door. Not really anything interesting there. And then the next bit is probably the coolest. We have a pan out shot of the garage. We can see an engine on the table there. We can see at the top something that looks like a fucking flying machine, like a plane. Maybe we can fly in this game. Who knows? There are propellers there. Maybe it's not an engine as I thought before. Maybe it's a fucking mini plane that we can fly around. Who knows? I'm just speculating, guessing at the moment. I'm not going to confirm anything. It could just be a car engine for a really big fucking car. And then we see some signs there and we see that character show up again. All in all, this was a really cool tech demo just to see where Borderlands 3 is at the moment. But if you want to see it for yourself, I've linked IGN's version of this tech demo in the description below. Click on it if you want to see the whole presentation. Let me know what you think. I'm really fucking excited for this, guys. Like, seriously, Borderlands is my shit. When that game is released, I'm sure as hell doing a Let's Play of it. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.